Hey students, this is another tutorial. Today we're going to talk about materials. So to sort of give you a preview of what we'll be doing next, um, and there's also some modeling things that we'll fix, but when we get there we'll understand that better. So this is our physical model that we made in Rhino. And this is all great and wonderful, but we want it to look as realistic as possible. And Rhino does not have a good render engine. So a lot of people, like my students, use a plugin called Maxwell. There's plugins called V-Ray. These are things you might have heard of as well with SketchUp. But what we're going to use instead and learn in this class is a program called Lumion that very quickly sort of simulates a building. I put pink polka dot wallpaper on this one. And at the same time, well, it's just like much more fun. Like, this is a really bad view. I've kind of gone awry. But you can sort of imagine easily picking out nice materials. But then they have these great trees that you can just like put in that are really nice. I would be shocked, and you can put in people, and it gets really weird. Like they're like walking. You can find new ones where oh, he's moving. Yeah, they like move. It's weird. And you just put in a whole bunch of them, and they like talk to each other. So it's a really powerful, quick, easy way to sort of do animation software, renderings, and basically once you get the hang of it, it's just plug and play until it's beautiful. So that's a preview. That's what we'll be doing after our Rhino model. But to get there, we sort of have to deal with the potential materiality of these things. So, it has like a very different orbiting interface, so you'll have to get used to it, but just to show you. In here, I have imported the model we have right now, and over here I imported a different model. So we have to declare what surfaces are different materialities. Obviously, the walls have like 4 levels of materiality. The ground will always be different. The roof will be different. So we need to tell it that, because when we use this material tab over here, it selects everything by the material it's already designated. So if you import one model with one material, then you can only change the material of this model in one way. Whereas if you import them in 3 different ways, like I did, they all will highlight separately. So we have our roof, we can make that something. We have this, we can change it from this color to something else. Well, this one, outdoor. They have all these options to change things, and then you can adjust later. So like this is probably the exact brick we'll use for some of the facade. So as you can see, very realistic brick. Probably shouldn't have used polka dot. Let's change that. But red brick, boom, architecture. Let's make a nice carpet. Domestic carpet. There you go, architecture. So that's what we're going to be doing in this tutorial, is sort of dividing our model up so that I can have different materials. And then the next one, we're going to we're going to design the rest of the site and put in some windows and doors that we download. Okay, so here we are, our model with holes on all the sides. I didn't put the model thing here. That was not important enough to me, apparently. So what I really will be doing in a pretty quick way is making all of these the materials they need to be. And we go to our wonderful montage again, which kind of speaks for the whole, whoops, maybe not that one. Let's go to this one. We have this light material here, so we'll call that roof. Red brick, white tile, black brick, white tile, red brick, another white tile, etc. So what we definitely need is at least 5 materials, a roof, and that's just for now. We'll get into the windows later, but for the general concept, we need a roof, red tile, black tile, white tile. Oh, and that's it. So we need 4 for now. Oh, floor. Great, carpet. So the easiest way to do this in Rhino is to create new layers. So over here is your sort of properties, layers. I never use display or help. Well, help is kind of handy, I guess. But layers is really important, and we haven't talked about it because this is such a simple model so far, but the more and more complex you get, the more problematic it is if you don't use layers properly. And I think, some of you have experience with the Photoshop and the Illustrator layers and how important it is, so it's the same thing here. So the way that we're going to organize everything is by layers. So the first thing I'm going to do is make a new layer for every new material. So I'm right clicking in the folder in the white area and clicking new layer. The first one will be roof. I'm going to right click, new layer. If you accidentally click out, you just can gently double click and it will pop back up. I'm going to do white tile, red brick, black brick, and we'll call this carpet. So that's pretty basic. Now, before I even start assigning things, I'm just going to do myself a favor and come over here and change all the materials. The fact that these are all blank under this material means they are the same material, and even if I had all of these things on separate layers, they would still import into Lumion as one material and thus be impossible to change. So all you have to do is click on this little white circle and change the material. I changed them to very bold, different colors. This is kind of a habit from years of AutoCAD, because usually you draw with this very specifically weird contrasting color scheme. So there you go. I have all different colors for all my different layers. Now I need to get certain elements onto the layer, which is very simple. So first, the roof, easy. Grab the roof, right click, change object layer. Boom. Red roof equals it's on this layer. It was on default and now it's on the roof. Same thing with the floor. Here, I'll just check in side. So the floor is all highlighted. Click on this right click, change, oops. If you hit copy, it's not the end of the world, but it means you've duplicated, which you don't really want to do. So I would just delete it if you accidentally copy, or Control Z. You want to change the object layer. Okay. So now we have this problem where, well, this is going to be white tile. So that's cool. We can go ahead and change that to white tile. Change object layer. Okay, so we got this weird thing happening in here. I don't think we really need it. We have this stupid hole here. So let's see if we can get rid of this later. We got not such a problem on the ground because that's okay if this is like a sort of carpet inside and like sidewalk outside. This will be, I'm going to just go ahead and delete this because I'm going to, at a later time, I'll leave that one for now, but I know that there's glass walls there. It looks like it's everywhere, so I'll just go ahead and delete that because I'll be adding it in the next tutorial. So one of the things that's bothering me is this roof, and I don't know. Let's see what the easiest way to do this is. Points on. Nope. One surface. So probably what I would just do is I would end up redrawing this. And I think some of you will probably have this problem too. You don't have to necessarily redraw it, but I'm just going to redo the line. Instead, I'm going to grab my surface, type dupe border, and that automatically generated the curve. I think some of you easily know where the curve is, but sometimes it's hard to find. Once you have that curve on, you can turn the points on. This is specific to this example, and delete the points that are causing this sort of bump. So you're not actually deleting the curve, you're just modifying the way the curve is made. So if you see now, I kept this straight, but left this, and I didn't have to retrace anything. So that's exactly what I wanted, so I'm just going to delete it, grab my curve again, type planar surf, and that's exactly what I wanted it to do, I think, except it's still like moved for some reason. I'm going to move it back to my corner. Let me go back real quick and modify this line and make sure everything is where we need it to be. So, again, I think it's time to do away with this bitmap. So you can type background bitmap, and I'm going to make it not visible because I can't see anything anymore. Alright, so it looks like there's just like somehow this shifted in certain places, or we've like modeled different things around it. So I'm going to turn on the points again and just move and disable so it stays planar. But just move these lines back to where they should be because I don't want a roof that isn't lining up. So now I am confident that I can grab this curve and type planar surf, and it will do what I want. Another little detail about Lumion is that it doesn't like single thickness. So right now we haven't extruded this, and it is only a two-dimensional surface. So what we need to do is extrude it. So like extrude curve, you can grab surfaces and extrude those. So once you have the surface selected, I'm going to type extrude surf. And I have the same sort of extrusion happening. I have the same options of solid or both sides. I'm going to just extrude this down a little bit. As you can see, it went down to there. And I'm actually going to extrude this one up, but I'm going to type in a dimension. I'm going to just put 1 inch because it's carpet and I want it to be thin. So something really interesting happened here. I extruded my carpet, which was on the carpet layer, but after it extruded, it still went back to the default layer. That's because whatever you're modeling, when this is checked, it will default to that layer. So if I wanted it to go to the carpet layer, I would have had to been double clicked in carpet. So I'm not going to worry about that. I'm just going to move my objects back to where they need to be. I'm just deleting the surfaces because we don't need them anymore. We only need the thicknesses. And roof. Change object layer. Great. This inner locking thing, crossover thing, isn't ideal, but again, we can fix that later. Actually, I'm just going to extrude it up a little bit instead. Or I'm going to move it up. So now it's kind of like a roof, and that's fine. Don't need the surface, only need the poly surface, change object layer. So now the only thing we need to contend with really is this sort of gradation of colors that happens here. So the easiest way to do this is to use these lines that we had already generated to actually split our surfaces so we can quickly put them on other layers. Just to give you a demonstration, what we're going to do is extrude these curves and then well, I'll show you with just one curve. Once you have a plane like so, you can actually split your surfaces. So I can grab this, and it might not work. I'll just expand this. So once you have a plane, you can grab it and then type split, and your cutting object, type split, select the object to split, which will be our library. Cutting object will be our plane, and now it will be two different materials. It's like cut in half, like a split. So this is what we're going to be doing to get the different materiality onto other layers. So just to go back before it was split, the way I would do this is I have this plane already and it's going all the way through and it works. I'm going to move it up. I'm actually going to ignore this line because I think that the roof will make this a different color and that will be fine. But what I'm really concerned about is this one, and then I'm going to copy it down, this one, this one, and this one. Okay, so now we can grab the building, type split, select our cutting objects, and now we have the bottom, the middle, and the top all separated out. The ribbon around. So let's do the ribbon around first. Change that. We're just going to zoom into one corner and select that and see how that goes. This is going to be white tile. Change object layer. And I'm gonna just hide these for now. I don't think I'll need them again. But I'm just gonna go around and make sure that it's all green like I anticipated it to be. And same thing with this one. I'm definitely selecting more than I need there, but it looks like it might be just a curve. So this seems to be okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and change that to change object layer. Looks like I didn't get some of these guys. So this is something that happens when you split. Sometimes discrete elements won't get selected. All right, that seems good. Well, maybe not. There we go. Okay, so we have all the white tile. Now we can pretty much make everything else red brick because the black brick is gonna go here, right? So this will definitely be red brick. Change object layer. This will definitely be red brick. Change object layer. So now we need to contend with the black brick, I think. That's all this. Because it's red brick here. And we just need to confirm sort of like what is going on these sides. Is it only these little columns that it's red brick? I'm not sure. It seems like all the way around it's black brick. Okay, cool. So all the way around this whole midsection is going to be black brick. So the easiest way to do that at this point, because everything else is on a layer, is to go ahead and grab, you can right click on a layer and select objects. Whoops. Anyways, don't know why that didn't work. Either way, you can just go around and grab everything and make it black brick. Change object layer. The other good thing is that you can hide layers. And just, so this should be under white tile, change object layer. I don't even know what this is for. Just put it under white tile, change object layer. So everything else is gonna just go on black. So grab everything and just put it on the black brick layer, change object layer. So again, this toggles the visibility. I just made sure I was checked on to the black brick layer and I turned everything else off so I could clearly click on everything. So this is as far as you want to get for materials. Basically having the 5 materials and all your openings so that when we import it into Lumium, it will be perfect. The next tutorial we'll talk about objects and modeling the surrounding environment, and then that's all that will be due for this portion of the demonstration.